All right, so welcome everyone to today's information session. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule already, I'm sure. So today we'll have an overall presentation of all the services offered at the Arts Internship Office. So here's a quick agenda of what we're going to cover today. So first, I'm going to give a presentation of the services at the Arts Internship Office. We'll have a quick testimony from a past intern who will share their experience. And as I was saying, we'll have time for questions at the end. So if you want to send them in the chat, if I haven't answered it throughout the presentation, I'm happy to answer some questions. It really adds to the session to hear your questions. And I'm sure a lot of people often have the same questions. So it's really great if you can speak up about them. And we have Sarah that's here as well. That's also a past intern and a newly employed staff at the Arts Internship Office. So she'll be able to answer some questions as well as a past intern and a current staff. So to introduce myself, so I'm Jade, work at the Arts Internship Office. I've been involved since 2018, so 5 or 6 years now. And I was first an intern, like yourself, if you're a past intern, or as you will be, hopefully in the near future. I did the first internship that I found on my own, and then I did one of the AIO internships at Equitas, as you can see in the middle. And then I was hired as a student staff like Sarah. And I came back in 3 years ago as a full-time liaison officer. So I've been kind of throughout the whole AIO journey myself, and it's really a pleasure to continue to share the information and to support students during their internship journey. So what do we offer if you're completely new to the Arts Internship Office? There's 4 main categories of things that we can offer to students in their internship journey. So obviously internship opportunities. I'll go into details of what these look like. We also offer funding opportunities, training opportunities, as well as mentorship. So I'll go into each of these categories more in depth. So this is a timeline that we like to refer students to, especially at this time of the year. A lot of people are wondering, when am I doing my internship? How long should it be? How do I prepare for it? So we try to break it down by semester and by little bubbles of critical points in your internship search journey. So September, again, we're approaching October, but it's really the time to get to know our services. So you're in the right place today. You already made the first step by coming to this session. And you can already have the tools to start and find your summer internship in the next coming month. I'll go into more details about the deadlines that we have, but they really are mainly between January and March, because we really support summer internships. The reason behind that is that there's no co-op internships and there's no co-op program in the Faculty of Arts. So all the internships are made independently by students. So you could do an internship completely independently from our office, but we offer a number of resources that can help you through finding an internship or supporting the internship that you found. But that's why we really support summer internships. So usually between May to August, May to July, so that you can have a break in August. However, if you find your own internship, you can also have some flexibility around the dates. Again, you could still do an internship independently during the semester. However, you won't have access to the same resources. And once again, that's because there's no co-op program. So we really want you to focus on your studying during the semester so that you can fully enjoy your internship during the summer. So again, I'll go through all the resources listed in those bubbles, but just to show you also that you have support before, during, and after your internship, especially as an award recipient. It comes with training and workshops that you have access to. And we offer a number of resources to not only help you find your internship, but also prepare applications. So first of all, the internship opportunities, which is why we're all here for. It's the place to start. Where can you find those opportunities? How can you apply for them? And when do they open? So first, I like to start very basic. It's like every course curriculum. We start with definitions. So just to highlight a few things of what is not an internship. So to differentiate an internship from a part-time job, we also want to warn students about volunteerism and fee-based organizations. So those are usually organizations where you pay a very heavy fee, maybe like $1,000, and then they'll promise you an internship. They'll promise that they'll find you an internship for the summer, and then you might have to pay even more fees on a daily basis. And these organizations can be very harmful, very dangerous for students. And internships should be accessible as much as possible, and you should not have to pay upfront cost for your internships, as well as volunteerism, which can be projects to work in a community, usually, and community abroad. And the intentions, again, can be harmful to the community and to yourself. And it's also for-profit organizations that run that. But to really differentiate an internship from a part-time job is really about the learning component. So it has to be an experiential learning that really complements what you learned in the classroom. And it has to include learning objectives, training, supervision, and mentorship. So you're going to have a supervisor on site that's really, again, going to bring you that mentorship aspect. And you need to go into it with a learner's mindset. So again, you're not just doing tasks without learning anything. You need to have learning goals and outcomes. And it's not, we'd like to highlight as well, it's not necessarily a mandatory part of your studies. So as I mentioned, there's no co-op program. You're not obligated to do an internship. Obviously, we exist because a lot of people want to do internships, and it's a great addition to what you do in the classroom. However, I'll touch on that a bit later in the presentation. If you're a first-year student, the pressure can be a lot as a McGill student overall. So if you don't find an internship in your first year, that's totally okay. You still have a lot of summers ahead of you. So again, if you don't end up having an internship in the coming summer, that's all good. You have more summers ahead of you. But if you do want to continue in your internship search, we will be here to support you as well. So we have 3 types of internships that we offer at the office. So we have the Arts Internship Office posting. So those are partnerships that we have with organizations. Again, I'll go into each category more once I show the website. And then if you don't get selected, or if you don't like any of the postings that we offer you, you can also find your own internship. And we offer awards to support these internships. And then we also offer research internships for undergraduate students, which we call ARIA. So again, we have a lot of acronyms, AIO, ARIA posting. So it's a lot of language that you'll get to learn hopefully throughout this presentation and as you interact with our services. So how to navigate our websites. Again, I know McGill offices often just tell you it's on the website, go look. But we really work a lot on updating all the information on the website. And we want you to have all the updated information accessible to you at any time. So I will show you around the website and help you navigate to find all the information that you need. So I just want to make sure that you can see the website on the screen. Yes, all good. Okay, great. So this is our website. Some of you might already be a little familiar, some of you not as familiar. So again, you can type Faculty of Arts Internship Office on Google, and it should show up pretty up in the search. So as I was mentioning, we have, so if you just click on the internship category, you're going to see the postings I was mentioning and to find your own category. There is also a more in-depth definition of what is an internship that I was mentioning, again, the learning objectives and what differentiates from a part-time job. There is also a more thorough explanation about volunteerism and fee-based organizations, as well as the timeline I showed earlier. So all of these informations are on the website. Now for the postings. So if you click on here, you have all these categories. As I was mentioning, those are partnerships that we have with host organizations for summer internships. It's usually the same partnerships that come back every year. Again, the office has been here for 20 years, and we've had some partnerships that come back every summer since, and we try to grow, obviously, the number of partnerships that we have available for faculty of our students. So I'll just show you the first page first. So this first page is really how to apply for the posting. So there is a recording of last year's info session on how to apply for the postings. As you can see, it's dated January 2024. So we'll have a new info session in January 2025. So you can already look at this recording, but obviously there might be some updated information for this year. But for now, I'm leaving the past recording up, and there is a detailed how to apply for the positions. So as you might have seen at the beginning, the postings for next summer will be updated by December, January. The ones from summer 2024 are still uploaded so that you can have a look at them. But again, there might also be like some differences, but most of them should be coming back for the summer. Again, we're in the process of confirming with organizations if they want to have a partnership, if they have room to have an intern next summer. And the deadline is already set for next summer applications. It will be February 9th. So you can already mark your agendas for that. And I will mention also, I don't want to confuse you too much, it's a lot of information, but there might be some early applications for some of the postings because of security clearance. And so if you do want to apply, first of all, we invite you to look through all the opportunities. to carefully read each posting, which I will show you examples of, and prepare your application. So there's 3 core elements. It's really your CV and cover letter, which we can help you prepare. Again, we not us directly, but we offer you resources to help you prepare your applications. And a third element, if you're applying to an opportunity outside of Canada, then you will also need your pre-departure orientation, which I will talk about more later on as well. So again, at this point, the application form is not open yet. It will open also once the postings are uploaded. And the deadline will be February, but you can already have a look to see which ones you would like to apply for. Good to keep in mind already early on in your internship search is that you can apply to 3 internships maximum. The reason for that is that I know there might be a lot of opportunities that might be interesting to you. People are very eager, and obviously, we say don't put all your eggs in one basket. But the application process with the AIO postings is different in the way that we really want a quality targeted application rather than a copy paste for 16 of them, if you know what I mean. Because again, it's all going to go through our office. So the way it works is that you send your applications to the AIO, and we do a first selection, and selected candidates will get an interview. And then we send we shortlist a number of students and send those applications to the host organization. They might do a second round of interviews to make their final decision, and then they make the final selection. So again, we're the ones receiving the applications in the first place, which is why we also don't review the CV directly. But you also get a lot of opportunities, especially this semester, to connect with past interns like Sarah and Yvonne, who are here today. I didn't introduce our speaker yet, but yes, one of the past interns. So again, through our mentorship program, through our events, you get a lot of opportunities to meet with a past intern and actually hear from their experience. So we really want students to know what they're getting into and to have really targeted applications. So yes, this is the reasoning why you have to pick 3. So that's why it's good to already at this stage look through everything that's available, see what your interest is, and already think of which ones you would want to apply for and get ready for those. And obviously, we'll talk about how to apply to find your own and apply for other opportunities outside of the postings that we have. Something that's important as well is the requirements. So each position, each posting is different and have different requirements. So before you get very excited about applying for something, you want to make sure that you are eligible to apply for this internship. You will see there's also a variety of locations. So a lot of them are in-person internships. We have a few completely remote internships, and we have a few hybrid internships as well, which means you do have to be in the city of the internship. You'll have to go in the office, but there might be a bit of work from home components, as a lot of workplaces do in this time and age. As you'll see on the postings as well, all the positions are funded. So if you do get selected for the posting, you will automatically receive the award that is listed on the posting. So once again, we leave the postings from summer 2024 as information. However, the award amount, the length, the location, all these factors might change a bit for next summer. So it's to give you an idea of the position, but just to know that these details might change. So yeah, the timeline, so you apply on February 9th. So even if you apply earlier, we only start reviewing applications after the deadline. So obviously don't wait until the last minute, but also you won't hear back earlier. It's not a first come, first served kind of system. And yes, and then we do the first round of interviews. It takes around 2-3 weeks. Again, it can be a bit of a lengthy process, which is why we have an early deadline, because even if you apply in February, you might not hear back until March or April, depending on the organizations. And so, yes, that's why we have early deadlines. Again, I know it might seem very early as a student, but if your start date is May 1st, April is final. So it's really the best time to do applications. So again, if you scroll all the way down, you have a very detailed list of everything to prepare. So again, at this stage, it's good to know that you have to prepare a CV cover letter and pre-departure. However, you first want to get familiar with the postings. So again, don't hesitate if there's any questions in the chat. It's hard for me to look at the chat while I'm talking, but I can get back to them at the end of the session as well. So as you can see on the left-hand menu, there's a number of categories. So we try to diversify the areas of that we have internships in. And so our first category is advocacy, policy, and governance. So I won't go through all of them, but I really invite you to go through them and see which organizations look interesting to you. So for example, our first posting is the Ghana Center for Democratic Development. So there's a short blurb explaining what the center does. There's a link to their website, which I cannot see because my Zoom bar is in the way. There we go. All right, so this is their website. So you can browse their website to have more information. There's a link to past interns reports. So again, you can, when I say you can really learn from the past interns, and it's both great for you to prepare for your applications, but also for you to know in the first place if you are interested in doing this internship. So again, and these are the ones from 2023, I believe, but we're in the process of updating them for summer 2024 interns. And the famous posting itself. So if you click on this button, you will have access to this PDF. And so what we call a posting is really this PDF document. And as I mentioned, it's very detailed. So for example, it's kind of a very particular one, but for this one, you could either choose to do a remote internship or to apply to go in person. But again, there's certain criteria to be familiar with the region. There's a description of the host organization. There's a description of the intern's duties and responsibilities. There are requirements from the host organization. So again, some of them have a language requirement. Some of them have a nationality requirement. The number of hours. So we have full-time and part-time positions. The dates, again, most of them will start the first week of May until for 11 weeks as the average. But again, each posting might be different. And again, all the details that are on the website at the moment are from the past summer. So it's to give you an idea, but it might look a little different for next year. We're in the process of getting those details. The deadline will be February 9th, 2025. And then again, eligibility. So for most of the postings, you have to be a full-time faculty of arts students. You could be an undergraduate student or a master's student. Again, certain internships might only be for undergraduates, certain might only be for graduate students. So make sure to read correctly. You need to have a minimum GPA of 2.7. There is a little asterisk. If ever you have a GPA under 2.7, you can come and talk to us. If something happened in your life or in your academic career that's really impacted your GPA, you can explain it in your application and we'll take into consideration. Again, the reasoning for that to have a minimum GPA is just we want to make sure that you're not hindering your academic, you want put your studying first because that's always the priority. You need to be returning to McGill in the same program in the fall semester following the internship. So if you are graduating, unfortunately, you cannot apply for the postings. However, there are other resources available to you, which I will show later on. And you need to follow the requirements outlined in the handbook. So again, you can have a look at the handbook from summer 2024 if you scroll down here. Again, I won't go into too much detail at this point of the internship search, but if you become an award recipient or if you do a university-related internship, then you need to attend a certain amount of meetings and write some reports as an award recipient. So just to know what it entails before getting into it. And you are responsible for providing proof of medical insurance. And again, the intern is responsible for the cost associated to transportation, accommodation, finding your own accommodation. So we don't find everything for you. But again, it does come with the fixed award that is named on the posting. Again, travel requirements. If you are traveling outside of Canada, there's a number of requirements that I will show later on. And you are responsible for finding your own entry requirements. So again, applying for a visa if you're going outside of Canada and things like that. So this is the posting. So again, there's several categories. We have a lot of Montreal internships. We have some in Toronto. We have some, where else? Montreal. We have a remote one. We have some United Nations positions. Some of them are remote. And we have in-person positions in Panama. And so I will talk, again, I'll let you guys discover the rest of the positions. To talk quickly about the early applications. So at the moment, they are closed because the postings are not updated yet. However, last year we had an early deadline that was early January for these two positions. So the Permanent Mission of Canada to the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe. That is an in-person internship in Vienna. And again, these internships require security clearance, which is done by the host organization themselves. So we first have to do the shortlisting, and then they do their selection, and they need to do security clearance, which can take several months. So that's why we have an earlier deadline. Again, there might be a few other positions that need security clearance that will be added to the early deadline. So I'll get to how to keep in touch with us, but just to make sure to sign up to our listserv, because that's how you'll get the most updated information about the early deadline, so you don't miss out on it. However, the application process is very similar. You need to provide a CV cover letter, be ready for an interview if you get selected. And for these ones, since it's outside of Canada, you'll need the pre-departure orientation, which again, I will present shortly. Oh yes, one thing about the early application. So if you do apply for these ones and you don't get selected, you can still apply for 3 on the second round, so the regular deadline. Just to clear that up. All right, so this is pretty much everything about postings. Again, we'll have an info session specifically on how to apply for postings early January once everything is uploaded. But if you want to talk about the postings, we really invite you to check out the postings in the meantime and come and talk to us at the office about which ones you would be interested in. So if you see all of these categories and none of these seem appealing to you, you're looking for something very different than what we offer, or if you are applying to 3, we still recommend that you find that you apply to other positions as well, because again, there's no guarantee. In terms of competitiveness, also, I know that's a question we get very often about the postings. It's really a wide range. Again, it's hard for us to know in advance which ones are going to be popular. Sometimes we're a little surprised. However, some of them, historically have been more competitive than others. So I would say it's not to be discouraged to say like, oh, it's super popular, like I'm not even going to apply, because it's really often a question of requirements. And so it could really be a shame to pass out an opportunity just because you thought that someone else might be more qualified. And some of the postings really do not get a lot of applications. So it's almost automatically granted that you'll be shortlisted. So that's why it's really important that you come and talk to us about your applications, because you could really miss out on an opportunity. All that being said, to find your own internship, so we have a category here. So again, there's a few words of advice of persistence and patience. Again, to keep trying and to start early and set realistic goals is very important. We have a little steps to an effective internship search PDF. So if you come to the office, we also have it printed if you would like it. However, it's also available online. So it's a bit of a summary of everything I'm saying today, but it has a very interesting section about how to define your interests. So again, if you're really just getting started and you're unsure where to start, and again, sometimes your studying might be very broad. So there's a few important questions that you can ask yourself of what are your learning goals, what skills and knowledge would you like to gain, etc. I think it's very important also to start your search by thinking of location. So for example, do you want to stay in Montreal? Are you from a different country and you want to go back to your hometown? Again, you can start thinking like, okay, I know my interests. I want to do diplomacy in Toronto. That's already, making a category that's more reachable to do your search. So again, that's why it's also good to come to the office and drop in hours and kind of think about those elements and to start your search. And again, there's a lot of tools and reminders of how to prepare your applications on this handout. So as I mentioned, CV and cover letter, they're really, I know people don't usually love them, but we really have wonderful people on campus to help you work on them. And again, the earlier you do it, the less painful it's going to be. Doing it last minute is really not fun, and it's really the more targeted and the more effort you put into your CV and cover letters, the better your application will be, obviously. So if you're really just getting started, there are some how-to guides on the Career Planning Services website. So we are the Arts Internship Office, which is just for Faculty of Arts, but the Career Planning Services is for every faculty on campus. And so it's really complementary. You can use their services as well as ours. And they are really experts when it comes to CV and cover letter review. So we really invite you to use their resources to prepare your applications. And they offer they have a series of videos, and they also have some guides, again, that we have printed at the office. But if you want to access them online, how to write a CV, how to write a cover letter. Again, it might seem obvious, but they really have some really good templates, some really good advice. You might think like Google can answer those questions as well. But it's very important also to think of maybe the cultural context, maybe the way you do a CV and cover letter in France could be different than how you do it in North America. So it's very important to really know, for example, not putting a picture on your CV, not saying if you're married or your religion, things like that, and targeting your CV. So again, there's some words of advice. The templates that they offer as well, again, sometimes people want to get creative with their CV. We really recommend just having a more plain format so that the information is easy to read. Things like that might just not be obvious when you're a student and it's maybe your first time writing a CV altogether. Again, I'll touch on it a bit later, but especially if you're a first year student, or even if you're a second or third year and you're like, I don't have enough experience to apply for internships, you would be surprised at how much experience you actually do have, whether it's on campus, being involved on campus, or jobs that you've done in the past. You can really frame it as what is it that you learned during those experiences. And those are going to be very helpful in putting forward on your CV and your applications. In my opinion, anyone can really sell themselves as ready to apply for certain positions. Again, knowing what the requirements are for the position. That to say, I really recommend to use the templates and the advice that they offer on these guides. They really have a good section also on the words to use in your descriptions. Even myself, I use their tools because they are very helpful. Same with cover letters. So again, the cover letter, the main word of advice is to reuse the wording in the posting. So at this point, it might be a little early to write cover letters. However, you could already start and work on your CV. Obviously, you might have a few more things to add by the end of the semester. But if you haven't updated your CV in a while, I really recommend doing that as early as possible. And so you can check out the how-to guides at any point, and you can even go to the career planning services, we call them CAPS, and meet their advisors. They have drop-in hours and you can book appointments. So the second link here, they have drop-in hours every day, and it can be a little busy depending on the day, but you can come between 1:30 and 2:30 in downtown campus, or you can also book virtual. They also have virtual drop-ins, and you can book an appointment. So there's a lot of ways to meet with them, and you can bring your draft and they're going to correct it with you. So it's such an incredible resource, and I really, 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 really recommend going to see them. A lot of words per minute, so need a little water. All right, so I said you can book an advising session with CAPS. So CAPS, as I said, is also offering career advice for everyone on campus. So if what we had on our postings was not appealing to you, maybe you're looking for something different, the My Future database is also a McGill database that has paid opportunities for everyone on campus. So there might be jobs and internships, but there is a lot of opportunities listed there. One thing about My Future is that they just updated their platform. So for now, I'm getting this error message. Again, we're not responsible for the My Future platform. If you want to contact them about that, again, hopefully it should be fixed soon, but it's really McGill's main platform. Like every opportunity that we get, we transfer it over to them as well. So I really advise you to contact CAPS and My Future, and hopefully the access to My Future. Again, I'm not sure if it's just because I'm a staff that it's not working. But yes, again, the My Future platform has a lot of opportunities. We also have another database that was hosted on another website. Again, disclaimer is that these are not partnerships that we have, so we do not vet these internships. It's really just we don't endorse them, but it's places that students have interned in the past. So this one, you also have to log in with your McGill credentials. And there are filters by areas of interest, by location, by level. And so it's really a place, again, that some of them might be very specific, some of them might be very broad, but you can, again, it's going to link you to either their career page or their contact page or internship page. So as you go through your own internship search, what's really important is just to kind of understand, is there a deadline? Is there an application form? Or is this just a small organization that doesn't have an internship posting where I just need to reach out to them and ask if they would be interested in taking an intern? So this is the other database. And as I mentioned earlier, so you can apply for awards if you find your own internship. So the postings come automatically with a fixed award. You don't have to apply for it on top of the posting. However, if you find your own internship, again, you have your internship secured. Once you have your internship secured, then you could apply for awards through our office, which I will show you in a minute. And at the bottom here, we have a few words of advice to apply to an internship in your first year, because again, it's a question that we get very often. So as I mentioned earlier, I would really recommend working on your CV with a CAPS advisor so that you can frame whatever experience you have before McGill in a competitive way. And we also have some workshops planned out about how to write a competitive CV and cover letter. To really carefully review the requirements. And again, as I was saying earlier, to come and talk to us, because certain positions might be more obviously for, like the one in Vienna, for example, is more competitive, and they often take students that are second or third year. However, there might be other postings that are completely adapted to someone in their first year. So I really recommend coming to talk with myself or the staff at the office. And also, if you find your own internship, again, that can look very different. That can be very adapted to whatever level and experience you currently have. And I wanted to touch on as well a program that is run by the Career Planning Services that is called Micro XV. And these are short-term commitments, so 1 to 5 days, so very different from the 2-3 months internships that we have, where you can get a placement with an organization and work on a project with them. So that can also build your professional experiences before applying for internships. So I really recommend you explore that resource. I can't answer questions about it because it's run by Career Planning Services, but there's a link here if you're interested in checking that out. So those are resources to find your own internship. And lastly, under the internships, as I was mentioning earlier, all of our resources are for graduating students. All of our resources are for returning students. So you have to be coming back in the same program in the fall semester. If you're going on exchange, you're still enrolled in McGill, so that does count. You are returning. However, if you're graduating, for example, in the spring or in the summer this year, unfortunately, you won't be eligible to the services that we offer. However, as I mentioned, the career planning services, you have access to all their services even 1 year after graduation. And if you check out this page, so again, there's the information to reach career planning services. But there is a number of programs that are specifically for graduating students that are, again, McGill partnerships like Building 21, the CBC radio internship. And there's also the Pathy Foundation Fellowship Program. So there are a number of opportunities for graduating students. So don't feel discouraged that you don't have access to AIO. However, all of that is run through CAPS, through Career Planning Services. So they'll be able to answer questions about that. All right, hopefully I'm not going too fast. Again, this is recorded, so if ever you want to look back at the session, you'll be able to. And again, feel free to write questions in the chat and I'll get to them at the end of the session. So for funding, as I mentioned, we offer awards that are made to offset the cost of internships. You can look, so first I'll look at the apply for funding page. So this is a very thorough page on how to apply for the funding. So as I was mentioning, they are designed to provide partial funding to assist students with travel or the cost of doing an internship. So if your internship is unpaid or if it's low pay, or if you're traveling for it and there's a lot of costs associated to it, then you can apply for the awards. Same as the postings, we had award recipients in the summer. It's only for summer internships. And applications will open around December, January, and the deadline for it is March 16th. So you can only apply after you found your own internship. So if you get a posting, it's you get the funding automatically. But if you find your own internship, then you can apply. Similarly, we have a recording of last year's info session, and we'll have a new info session on how to apply in February next year. I do invite you, again, you don't need to look thoroughly on how to apply just yet. However, it's good to have in mind the eligibility criteria. So same as the posting, it's open to Faculty of Arts students, so undergraduates and graduate students. You have to be returning in the same program after the internship. So you need to have found your internship, and it has to be in the summer between May to August, 8 to 12 weeks, GPA requirements. Only 1 application per student, and no more than 3 applications per organization. So just because we had some organizations have maybe like 10 interns apply there. So again, if that's a little confusing, it's good to have the conversation with your host if they know of our office, or just to come talk to our office if that's the case. What is not eligible is good to keep in mind as well. Activities are primarily academic research. So if you're an undergraduate student doing academic research, you should apply for the ARIA internship instead. Field studies and courses. These awards cannot support field studies and courses. And internships with third-party and fee-based placement organizations I was mentioning earlier, if you're paying like $1,000 to these organizations, because we don't want to support them because they can be very harmful and dangerous to students. Again, just to be clear, the position is already advertised through the Arts Internship Office. You cannot apply for that same position and then apply for awards separately. Again, if you're working for UNHCR Montreal, but like it's completely different because we do have a partnership with them, but if you're doing a completely different internship, like within this big organization, you can come and talk to us and make sure you'll be eligible. And there is a note on for-profit, corporate, and privately held companies that are ineligible. That is more because if you're doing a non-paid internship with Google, usually there's more of a red flag. So again, all of these rules are really not meant to just restrict you, but also for your safety and for us to really catch, again, moments where the student might be in a bad position. But again, if any of these seem confusing, or if you're unsure if your internship qualifies or does not qualify, then feel free to come and talk to me. Again, this is my personal email, or you can email AIO directly. Again, there's criteria around the selection criteria. So it's not just based on GPA, it's not just based on credits or anything. It's really meant as well-rounded application. So it's a mix of your academic performance, the quality of the proposal. You need to submit a letter of recommendation. Again, all the criteria are listed here, and then instructions to apply. So again, it's once you found your internship, and then you submit a number of documents, like a letter of recommendation, a personal statement, and a budget. So again, we can't give amounts of how much you'll receive because we really base it on the budget that you submit. That is very detailed on the costs related to your internship, and there's no guarantee on the amounts. However, we do our best to match the amount that you submit in your budget. So for our research internships, for funding, also just quickly mention, we have a page with the past award recipients. So you can have a look at our past award recipients and what faculty they're in, what departments, what year they're in. Again, you can do Control F and do U0, U1, and then see that we've had students in their first year do internships as well, or for example, political science, and seeing what everyone in poli-sci has been doing the past summer. If you want to be put in touch with one of them, you can just send us an email at AIO, and we'll be sending them an email to know if they're okay to be put in touch. We ask that you don't do that yourself, just to respect their privacy. But yeah, you have access to that. Also, if they found their own internship, you could reach out on your own to this organization to know if they would like to have a McGill intern again next summer. So again, there's a lot of resources out there for you to do your internship search. All right, I need to speed up. There's so much information to go through. I need to leave some time for our guest speaker as well. So for Arts Undergraduate Research Internship Awards, I won't spend too much time on it because we're having the info session for it next week on October 1st. So if you are an undergraduate student interested in doing a research internship, I really invite you to come to this other info session. And we'll have our annual event for ARIA on October 8th as well, where it's going to be in the ballroom of the faculty club, and the students are going to present, like on this picture. They make a poster and they present the results of their research, and it's going to be like a big networking event as well with all the professors and researchers. But very briefly, it's a research internship with a McGill professor on campus. And you work within the globe of the professor's research. So when you Google a professor, you'll find on the McGill website exactly what is it they're researching. And yeah, you get to have your own project working with that professor. It's a one-on-one mentorship opportunity. It's really amazing. And you get a $5,000 award. Exactly. So again, you can go through the website, see the eligibility criteria. But if you're interested in that, then I really invite you to come to the next info session. It will be recorded as well. So if you can't make it, you'll be able to watch the recording and to come and meet with us at the office. So for travel, if you are applying to one of the postings that's outside of Canada, or if you are applying to an internship on your own, but it's outside of Canada, then there's a number of travel requirements that you will need to fulfill. So the one I already mentioned, so a lot of them will happen once you actually secure the internship, but one that you need to do before you even look for internships is a pre-departure orientation. So as it's called, it's an orientation that is meant to give you tools to go about preparing for international travel and doing a university-related opportunity abroad. If you've already done it, for example, if you go on exchange, you will have to do it. It's valid for 1 year. You get a certificate at the end that is valid for 1 year. So as long as you can submit that certificate with your applications, that's what you will need. But if you are interested in applying for a Vienna internship, or if you think you're going to go back to France, again, I'm using France because I'm French, but so it's coming to mind. But obviously, any other country outside of Canada, you will need to do this orientation. The way it works and why I also suggest doing it early. So if you click on this link, it's hosted by the McGill Abroad office, so the people who take care of McGill students going abroad. There is a registration period. So for example, I forget which day we are. So for now, you cannot register yet because it is a monthly registration window. So the next registration dates are going to be between October 1st to October 8th. And then you register during those days, and then it will show up on your My Courses, and then you'll have until October 31st to complete the course. So especially since midterms finals are going to happen very quickly, I really recommend that you do it as early as possible. And then it's a 1-hour course to give you all the tools to prepare for international travel. It's really, again, it's good to take the 1 hour out of your time now rather than later. And once that is done, again, you will be able to register here, and then you'll obtain a certificate of completion, which is a PDF. You want to make sure that you download it from My Courses, because then it will disappear once you're done the course after October 31st, for example. So you download that PDF, and then you will have to upload that PDF if you're applying for funding, if you're applying for a posting, if you're applying for credits. So it's really important to have it. And I invite you to read the rest of the travel requirements, again, if you know you're going to be traveling. We have a mentorship program. Again, I have a quick slide on it, but you can be paired with a past intern. So either a research intern, an ARIA intern, or an AIO intern, either a posting intern or someone who found their own internship. We're going to try to pair based on interest, but again, it depends on the availability of mentees and mentors that we have. The mentor applications are already done. We have a really good number of mentors. So if you are someone who's interested in looking for an internship for next summer, I really invite you to sign up. It's open until October 14th. It's pretty low commitment. Again, it's a very casual meeting and chatting with the mentor as you see fit, either in person or online. We do have an event. I need to put the date here. It's on November 6th. I'll put it on the website right after. And on November 6th, there's going to be a meet and greet event where you'll be able to meet your mentor. All right, time is flying by. I've never run out of time on these sessions, but sign up for AMI. Again, students, academic credits, I will touch on it super quickly. You can get credits if you are only for certain departments. And it's not just getting credit for doing the internship, it's a research, it's really more of like an independent research course that you take after you've done your internship, and you need to register before you start your internship. So I'm just going to keep it at that. If you have more questions, come and meet with us. For the events I mentioned, so the info session, the ARIA event, they're all listed on our website. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, we're also going to have an info session about how to prepare for international travel. So I kind of touched on it today, but we're going to have guests from McGill Abroad and the other sources of funding available. So I really invite you to come to this info session if you are going to apply for international internships. Again, if you're interested in research, undergraduate research, you should come to the info session and the annual event. And we're going to have workshops in November. So again, we partner with some career advisors from outside of campus from Yes Entrepreneurship. And it's going to be a Zoom workshop, a 1-hour Zoom workshop. There's 2 dates for each workshop, either November 8th, November 11th, or November 14th, or November 20th. So again, for each event, you can click on View More, and there should be a link on how to register, on how to sign up, all the details on how to attend. We also have stories, as I mentioned, we have stories from past interns on their internships. So if you want to know about ARIA, what is it like? What did they do? What's their experiences? You can read more. It's kind of like a blog post. And finally, contact. So we have drop-in hours. Again, I have it in my slides on Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So it means the doors open. You can just come in and a staff will be there to answer your questions. If you can't make it, you can still email us to make an appointment, or we can answer questions by email as well. We also have a YouTube channel. Again, all the recordings will be uploaded on the website eventually, but if you just want to see all through the past info session recordings, you can find them on our YouTube channel. We also have social media. Facebook, Instagram are the main ones. So if you want to follow us, It's AO McGill, or again, McGill. I don't know if a lot of people are on Facebook anymore. All right, I will go back to my slides because I am running out of time. Where are my slides? Sorry, give me 1 second. There we go. Can you see my slides? Okay. All right, so my slides are pretty much what I've been saying already. So you need to sign up for pre-departure, for travel registry. Pre-departure, again, we recommend doing it 3 to 6 months before departure. So that's why it's better to do it as early as possible. So I recommend signing up for the October session. Also, I meant to say it's not binding. So if you end up not going abroad, that's okay. You'll still have the preparation ready. So even if you're not sure, I really recommend doing it. Academic credits, you apply before you begin your internship. The course is taken in the fall following your internship. It is your academic decision. It's not mandatory, and not all departments offer the course. And each department has their own eligibility requirements, so it's not given for everyone to do it. However, it is an option if you want to look into it. Funding, again, the awards. Last summer, we had 145 students receive Arts Internship Awards. The deadline is March 16th. And as I mentioned, you can look at the eligibility requirements on the website. The postings, you don't need to apply for the awards separately. They are automatically funded. There is additional funding available through the Student Aids Office. So they're called Enriched Educational Opportunities Bursaries, called EEOs. That means that we have to approve of the internship, but then you apply with them to see if you are eligible. They are need-based bursaries, so you need to do the Minerva financial application. So again, that can be on top of receiving an award with us. So it's good to know that exists. We have research internships. We had 29 research interns last summer. The deadline to apply for ARIA is February 23rd, 2025. Training opportunities. So as I've been mentioning, so understand what to expect from an internship. So we have the info sessions like today, advising sessions and networking, connect with previous interns, mainly with the AMI program, our mentorship program, and to start preparing for applications with the CV Club letter workshops and going to the career planning services. So as I mentioned, next week we have the ARIA info session, and the week after that, we have the ARIA annual event in the faculty club. And October 24th is going to be the same format as today, the International Internship Info Session. All right, so it's another little summary, and we're going to have a lot more info sessions in the winter as well on how to apply for all the resources. These are the workshops for CV and cover letter. Again, it's all on the website. If you want to register for them, they're going to be on Zoom. These are upcoming workshops, all on the website. And now I will let our speaker present for a few minutes to share about the experience at the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, Guatemala. Thank you.
Thank you, Jade. So, hi, everyone. I'm Ivan. I'm a fourth-year student majoring in political science. And as Jade said, my internship this summer was at the UNHCR, so the refugee agency at the United Nations in Guatemala. It was a remote internship, so I was able to do it at home. And the way I accessed the internship, honestly, was I was just looking through my school emails and I kept seeing, AIO postings and just gave it a look. So make sure to look at your emails every day because that's where you're going to get really the most valuable information, or at least that's how I found it. And when I was applying for internships, I was really looking for what was most close to what I want to do in my career. So I'm studying political science, and there was a various amounts of United Nations internships and also in the realm of humanities. So I looked at those specifically. And I have to say, honestly, that my time this last summer at the UNHCR in Guatemala was just fantastic. I honestly, probably one of the best experiences that I've had. Work experiences, the people I worked with were great. I was a communications intern, so working with the social media team, working on special events, stuff like that. But it was really fantastic. I had a great time. And for those that are now applying for internships, if you're a little skeptical, having doubts of maybe I shouldn't do it because, as Jay was talking about, sometimes we're scared that more people are applying. This was my first ever internship, and I really had no prior background on anything. So you can apply to any of these internships without really having that much experience. Just present yourself, show what you're capable of, and there's a good chance you're going to make it. So it was honestly a fantastic opportunity, and I recommend all of you to apply.
Thank you so much. Again, I think it's great when someone else says it because obviously for AIO, I'm a little biased, but we hear really great stories every summer of students. Again, I was an intern myself at some point. That's why I'm still here. But yeah, thank you so much for taking the time to share your experience. And I know I'm going almost a little over and I want to save time for questions, but I'll just show the resources to stay in touch with the office. So as I mentioned, the mentorship program is open if you want to be a mentee until October 14th. And we will have a meet and greet on November 6th at the Thompson House. If you can't make it, you can still apply for the mentorship program. It's just to give the opportunity for everybody to meet in person. Again, this is a link. It's also on the website if you want to sign up as a mentee. Again, key dates and deadlines. So I think it's good to mark your calendars to stay a bit ahead of time because it's going to come up quickly, as I mentioned. Commonly asked questions. Again, I want to keep time for your questions. Can I pursue an internship that is not directly related to my major? Yes. As you saw, we have a lot of very diverse categories. Like we have some film festival internships, which we don't have a film program in McGill. So you can definitely do an internship that is not directly related to what you're studying. And it's a great time to really explore different fields, see if the field you're studying is something you actually enjoy on the ground or what that can look like. It can look like many, many things. Is it possible as a user or you want to get an internship or should I wait? We recommend applying in your first year. Even if you don't end up having it, even going through the application process, you're not going to be as scared. You're going to get some feedback and you'll be more ready for the future. Again, if you don't end up getting anything, that's okay. But it's good to also, again, have your expectations, manage your expectations, but also just knowing the requirements for what you're applying to. But it's always worth shooting your shot because you never know. Can I pursue an internship outside of Canada? Yes, you can, but make sure to check the travel section. Do I need to speak French? Again, if you're in Montreal, most organizations might need a French, but check the requirements. And again, there are opportunities outside of Montreal as well. Even if you want to stay in Canada, you could go to Ottawa, Toronto. So there are opportunities for really a wide range of people. So really stay connected with us. As I mentioned, the best is to come and talk to our advisors. Sign up for the listserv newsletter. So you just have to send the email with subscribe and then just subscribe AIO and then your name. And you'll get all the updates on the deadlines, everything I mentioned. Follow us on social media. You can email us. You can come to drop-in hours. Again, this is, we're missing Sarah because we don't have our poster yet, but Sarah is here today and we have 3 other wonderful staff who are all past interns and who will be able to share their experience and show you the resources, maybe in a more calm way than I did today rushing through these slides. And again, these are the drop-in hours and you can always email us for an appointment. And very lastly, I will get to your questions. It is 2:02. I saw a question in the chat. Are these opportunities eligible for Bachelor of Arts and Science students? The answer is yes. As long as you are, again, listed in the BA, BA&S, so Arts and Science, Master of Arts, Master of Social Work, Master of Information Studies. Again, it's all listed in the eligibility requirements. But as a good question, as an arts and science student, you are eligible. Again, if you're in computer science, some of the postings might not be as interesting to you. So we really recommend going to the career planning services to see what they offer as well. But you could still fund your own internship and then apply for funding or do an ARIA research internship if you're an undergraduate student. We have another question. Is it necessary to be, I assume, a student to complete my internship, or can I do it after graduating? So if you are graduating or graduate, like if you've already completed your studies, then you could go to the career planning services. But unfortunately, our resources are only for returning students. And as a full-time worker, what are the best ways to do an internship? Is it even possible? We do have some part-time internships, again, if you are returning students. If you already have a job, you can either find your own and find an arrangement that could work. Or again, we have some part-time internships available as well. So if you want to keep another job on the side as well during the summer, that can be possible as well. Those were all the questions in the chat. I don't think there were any other one. We're only a few people left. So if ever anyone wants to raise their hand or unmute, I will be here. Again, I think it's good if everybody can hear the question or if you want to, again, put it in the chats. If not, thank you so much for taking an hour out of your day to be here today. And hopefully you learned about the AIO, and I hope to see you around the office. And thank you again to Yvonne and Sarah for being here and for presenting. And yes, I hope to see you at future events. Thank you, everyone. I will stop the recording now.